Hi, welcome back to my art studio. Today we are not painting here, but here, in nature, painting a landscape. In my Hobby Artist Tries video series, I'm trying art techniques that I, as an artist, have absolutely no clue about. It's just for fun. It's like a practicing video series of me trying new things, so you don't have to be scared about it either. So today I'm painting a landscape. No idea how to even do that, so here we are. And as a little spoiler, it got stormy and rainy, so I was planning on filming some beautiful aesthetic nature painting shots for you, but the weather had different plans for me. Nevertheless, I did manage to paint a landscape painting, and how that turned out, that's what you'll see today. Enjoy. Also, before I start, please consider subscribing. It really motivates me to upload more on here over on my English channel. I know like short content, like reels, shorts and stuff, it's easier to watch, but these videos also allow me just to tell you a nicer story. You'll learn more about me, my work, and I just can kind of like follow you through the process step by step rather than just trying to put everything in 60 seconds. Anyway, now that you are all subscribed, hopefully, let's start. I feel like I should, provide you with some more context. This video, under the circumstances, got a little messy. I shot this video with the help of Frida, that's my sister, and we filmed it at my family's place. Like we kind of like assembled all the art materials and video equipment in a trolley and several bags. And we're kind of on the lookout for a good painting spot. This is my hometown, and I know that there is a really good place with a nice tree this way. I think I'm gonna head there next and see if I can set up my equipment. So I already had a good spot in mind, and we also walk the dog in like this field area a lot, so I knew that there is this beautiful tree. I walk past there all the time, and I think like 2 winters ago, I took a beautiful analog picture of it. The tree's like the only one on like a field path. There isn't really anything around it, and that just kind of makes up a really nice dynamic looking visual. Okay. So this is the tree that I meant earlier that I want to paint, and I've been wanting to paint this for a long time. The question is, where are we sitting? I'm thinking there maybe? Yeah, let's try that. So right now I'm just looking at the perspective from which I wanted to paint the tree, and also what I wanted in the background and the foreground, and ultimately I kind of spread out everything on the field path. It just gave this very lovely dynamic composition. Hopefully the wind is not gonna blow my easel over. I only have a very small one, but it should work. Okay, so I set everything up. One problem, I forgot my palette, my painting palette for the brushes, so I have to improvise. Although my dad is gonna come over and bring that for me, but I want to start earlier than that and at least sketch the scene. Also, weather forecast is unfortunately saying rain. Let's just hope for the best, I guess. And yeah, why not? Let's start. What could go wrong? I started off with a rough sketch, quickly drawing the field, the tree, the little path, and also the sky and clouds. I have no idea how professional landscape painters approach painting like this, because I would imagine that they have to hurry up because weather is changing. But I did want to apply an underpainting. Usually underpaintings are these brown washes of paint over a canvas. But considering the weather, I was I'm gonna try to put as much color as possible in a small amount of time on this canvas. So I started off using green and blue and also a few shades of purple for my underpainting. It's about to go down. I can already feel it. I'm not giving up though. I'm trying to do my best here, at least building something to work over. Aww.
Aber was machen wir, wenn es regnet?
We'll run. Also, the lighting at the time was so pretty. I would have loved to paint like this exact moment, but it was fleeting so fast. But yeah, the longer we spent there, which was like maybe 15 minutes at the most, we noticed the storm approaching, and that was at this point a little reality check letting us know like you have to move soon. So I was just trying to get at least the underpainting done. And just as we got the first raindrops, we like started to frantically pack everything back together, and it was so chaotic because then our dad and our dog came to bring us the color palette that we had left at home.
Oh, da sind sie! Oh.
And so then they had to help us like pack all the things, run back home and kind of like try to escape the approaching storm. It was chaotic.
Ah. Ja. Oh. Oh.
Literally, as soon as we got through the door, it started pouring rain. So we waited for about 1 hour, I would say, and I also, like, to be honest, I briefly considered just giving up and not paying for a second time. But I was like, yeah, come on, this makes a more interesting video anyway. And it's also to show you that not everything works out the first try. So we got back out there. The landscape actually looked even more beautiful after the rain, but the lighting was completely different. We are back 1 hour later. Rain has passed. Let's try again. So when I started to paint the same scene again, I had to use very different colors in comparison to an hour earlier. So what I did is I used lighter paints over my rather darkly primed canvas. I mean, the field now looked even more illuminated in shades of light yellow than the lush green from an hour before. And the trees also appeared way darker due to the strong backlight, and the sky, like, that looked entirely different too. Okay, so the problem is that the scene, like the entire landscape and the lighting in the sky especially, looks way different now. So what I have to do is kind of like use my dark sky as sort of like the dark tones and now working over like a lighter shades. And so because right now the clouds are kind of like dark gray and the sky is like a light blue, so I'm just kind of like trying to work with what I have. It'll make sense, hopefully.
It's a double rainbow all the way across the sky.
I'm not gonna sing. I'm sorry. It forced me to pay close attention to my surroundings, which, yeah, is quite new for me because I never really paint in nature. I always like paint from pictures, usually that are on my phone. So this is, I think, a very good practice to do as an artist because it like forces you to pay close attention to real life objects. Speaking of real life objects, clouds have always been so difficult for me to paint, probably just because I don't practice it as often. Also, like, I'm using acrylic paint here, so that dries quick, so I have to work really, really fast. I mean, clouds are like difficult to paint already because they naturally look different every single minute. So you either have to remember how they look and paint from memory. You can take a picture, which obviously I was trying to avoid doing because that's not the point of this challenge. And number 3 is like improvise, and that's what I did. I'm trying to challenge my inner Bob Ross and only kind of like paint in shapes, if that makes sense. Like I'm not going in with a lot of detail, just kind of like doing a little bit. After about 30 minutes of painting, so I haven't actually been sitting here for that long, I noticed the sunset and the sun was like shining beautifully through the trees, like peeking through. So I also tried to capture that in the painting as well. What tips I can give you after this like first experience, because I already have some things that I think would be quite valuable for you if you would like to try this. I would say work with as few brushes as possible, and also use larger ones. Like don't use the tiny ones because it's going to take you forever, whereas using bigger brushes allows you to just put on paint on your canvas and just cover it more quickly. Don't use the type of easel that I had. Maybe use the one that you can fold in like this small case and just carry it with you. I think that's actually what I'm gonna get for next time. My goal also wasn't to paint like a realistic landscape, rather follow the idea of Impressionism. Like Monet, for example, who used to paint the same subject at different times of day and year, just highlighting how different the light hits the subject. That's what you're trying to focus on. Therefore, I painted light in shades of yellow and green and the shadows in a cool violet. I didn't use any white or black paint at all. Also, like pre-select a few mixed tubes of paint. Like don't go with just primary colors that you have to mix. That's gonna take you a lot of time. Use the pre-mixed stuff. I was so pleasantly surprised overall with my result. It was so fun. It wasn't as hard in the end as I thought. It also didn't take long, maybe 1 to 2 hours if you combine my 2 sessions. So I really would like to travel to different places and kind of paint them in these small studies. I'm so happy I went back for the second time. Okay, so it's been pretty difficult because obviously nature is changing by the second. So yeah, this was challenging. I've never done this before, but here is my first landscape painting. Please let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing like a fall, winter and spring version of this painting. Leave a like and subscribe if you are interested in seeing that, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye bye. Das ist aber ein schönes Bild. Guck mal, Elli, wie toll das ist. So ein schönes Bild, oder?